Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
I'm gonna have to come with you. No. When do we start?
I thought you were going to cough.
That's why I have a cough drop.
Okay, great. Welcome back to the show.
Yes, welcome back.
What do we got going on this week? We're going to do all the pop culture news there is. Introduce a brand new segment that I'm excited about.
What? Is the new segment?
I like it. I think this one's going to be fun. This Week in Comics History.
Oh, is it going to be better than the game show?
I haven't decided what we're doing that one yet.
Is it still out to the test audiences? And...
I was literally asked by the guy who does all of our sound stuff. He's like, do you have a name for that yet? I'm like, nope. We're going to talk about 1995's Batman Forever on the 30th anniversary of the Batman series kicking off. Did I do that on purpose? Nope, but it worked out.
There you go. You should have said yes and make yourself look smarter than you actually
That's happened
are.
a couple of times where it's just like, wow, that worked out with an anniversary, and I did not plan it in any way, shape, or form.
Why don't you give yourself more credit than you probably deserve?
I got lucky.
That's usually the story of how things go with you. I mean...
The story of how things...
The list of things that you are lucky about is long and extensive.
It's usually fumble your way through something and somehow it works out.
Yeah, like you got married to a sweet, innocent, upstanding citizen. Let's see, what else?
Things I can't speak of, mostly.
Yeah, there have been a lot of things that you've been lucky about.
And the big news of the week, at least for the store, the giant turtle is gone.
Yeah, what's up with that? I saw that you had sold Leo.
I mean, that's kind of the end of the story.
Well, why?
Because I got a lot of money.
Oh, okay. Was it like from a collector?
End of the story. No, so for those who haven't been to the store, and most people haven't, based on listenership.
Wow.
Well, it's true. I had 3 years ago, I bought a life-size Ninja Turtle that was originally a piece that was commissioned for a museum in Northampton, Massachusetts by Kevin Eastman, which is this whole comic art museum. And it went for a couple of years, and then it didn't, and then Kevin gave them all to Peter Laird, and he just had them in a barn for a while. And then they went to a different store, Shellback Artworks, that Steve Levine had, and then when they closed that, they sent out emails to like shop owners. They're like, hey, does anyone want to buy these? Like, I can take one. They're like, do you want all four for a discounted price? I'm like, no.
So,
because that would have been an extra digit.
You've had that really for 3 years?
Yeah, I got it in 2016.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been in the store, and it's one, I've been afraid of it for years because it's made out of styrofoam, and it was made almost 30 years ago, and it's so fragile.
Oh, you're like afraid of it, like the styrofoam like causes you to have fear?
Well, just because kids come in, and they'll just grab it and yank on it, and it's fragile.
So you wanted to make sure that you were able to move it while it still was in...
Yeah, and someone had bought the other three back when I bought the one. I had just gotten to the one before. He would have bought the whole set, but...
Oh.
And he had tracked me down at a con, and I've been kind of in contact with him ever since.
Oh, did you did you manipulate the deal a little bit?
I made a profit.
Well, I mean...
That's generally what you want to do when you sell things.
Exactly. It's not like you wanted to sell it for less than you bought it for.
Yeah, so he's gone. Honestly, I'm kind of relieved just because he was so fragile. So fragile. But, and people are like, why? I'm like, money, mostly. Actually, entirely, the money.
That's fair.
He was fun to have for a couple of years. He definitely was a good attraction, but now, it's gone and I have cash.
Yeah, so you can buy something else ridiculous.
Oh, also, going on, speaking of where that money's going, I'm taking a vacation.
Oh.
So the store is going to be closed on Friday and Saturday.
Wow, this is incredible.
I know.
You never do this.
Well, it's been like 3 years since I've taken, speaking of 3 years.
Yeah, self-care. You need to engage in some self-care. I just got back from a vacation.
I'm
going on another one later this summer.
Where are you going later this summer?
I'm going to Gettysburg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With what? With who?
Family.
Okay.
I've always wanted to go, and I'm going to go, damn it.
No, I've never been there.
Well, I will have.
So you're still in the same boat as me.
For now.
But yeah, I'm just taking a couple of days off.
There you go. Nice. Get down, see Are you going to go to Atlantic City?
No. I've been to Atlantic City.
Are you going to Red Bank?
No, I doubt it. Actually, I'm going to be close to Red Bank.
Are you going to go to the Quick Stop?
I've been there. It's a convenience store.
Well, still. Are you going to Hoagie Haven?
Yeah, probably.
There you go.
I'm going to get myself a hoagie.
Attaboy.
Atlantic City is fun with the right group of people.
Are you going to go into Philly?
No, I don't think so.
No, just Jersey. Staying with friends?
In New York, yeah.
Hoteling?
No, with staying with a couple of people.
Ooh, in the city?
Not in the city.
Are you going to see a show?
No one lives in the city. Yeah, I am on Friday.
There's a lot of people that live in the city. Like 1 million, like 7 million, 8 million people live in the city.
A lot of people commute.
Yeah, but still.
It's true. Some people.
What show are you seeing?
Kong.
We saw Godzilla not that long ago.
Seeing Kong.
Kong the musical?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what are some of the numbers from Kong? Like, what are some of the song titles?
I don't know because I haven't seen the show.
When you went down to New Jersey last time, you listened to the Hamilton soundtrack. Are you not going to listen to the Kong soundtrack on your way down?
It's going to be a surprise.
I expect a full report and a full review.
We'll see how it is. I've heard either glowing things or it's fine. So we'll see.
Wow, a lot of gray area there.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm going in there hoping to enjoy it.
I had never heard of the fact that there was a King Kong musical.
Yeah, I think it started in Australia. Now it's on Broadway. Tony nominated.
Really?
Just for the effects.
Oh,
The monkey looks
is
good.
Hugh Jackman in it?
No.
I mean, it's Australian, so.
Oh, no. No, I don't think in Australia he was taking time out to do Kong the musical.
Well, maybe he will.
But I guess that's it for that.
Is it going to be good enough that they go from like Rent and Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera, they all became movies? Are we going to get Kong the musical, the movie?
I doubt that. There's like 7 or 8 movies.
But you want more Kong. You love Kong.
I'm going to go see it on Friday.
All right. I want a full review. I want a text afterwards saying good, not good.
I don't want to text you when I'm on vacation.
I want to know. I want to know how it is.
We'll hear next week how Kong the musical is as a Kong fan.
I'm going to wait to feed your animals until after I hear about Kong the musical.
Yeah, they might die. All right, from
what a
there,
terrible pet owner you are.
As we do each and every week, we're going to go into the pop culture news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
Have you seen Endgame in theaters?
Yes.
Well, maybe go back, because there's more Endgame coming at you.
I want to see it in IMAX. Is there still a place I can see it in IMAX?
Probably. What it's going to be, they added some stuff. It's not going to be an extended cut, but there's going to be a sneak peek of Spider-Man Far From Home, which doesn't entice me at all. That's going to be out in like a week and a half. There's going to be an unfinished deleted scene, a tribute, which probably is going to be about Stan, would be my guess, and a few surprises.
Ooh, we like surprises.
So I think it's all going to be credit stuff. Like the movie is the same, but if you want to see extra things, and I'm going to try. I also was going to try and see it a second time. I just haven't had time.
Kind of like special features on a DVD, but you're going to get them in the theater.
Yeah, kind of looks that way. I don't know. I mean, they haven't said everything explicitly, but we'll
That's
see.
fair. That's fair.
It'll definitely do enough. It'll drum up even more business.
Yes, it's still trying to catch Avatar.
To probably, beat Avatar, but it's not gonna, for adjusted gross, it's still not gonna be anything like to beat. I think it's Gone with the Wind is
but it's adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, but that's like an insurmountable number because there
It
was
is.
nothing else to do when Gone with the
Exactly.
Wind came out. DC Comics is shutting down its Vertigo line, and this made a lot of people unhappy.
Did it make them dizzy?
Yes.
Haha.
Jimmy Stewart took quick flashes of them, and they kind of stumbled a bit.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Oh,
Yes, correct.
Raymond Burr's across the street.
All right. Thank you.
I have a cast. That one wasn't as good.
No.
I lost it a little bit.
No, you're sounding like kind of like a wannabe, like
The first one wasn't
Snidely
bad.
Whiplash villain type.
It fell apart.
Yeah, see?
It's not Jimmy Stewart at all.
No, but that's what you sound like.
Oh,
No, now you sound like
that one's Jimmy Stewart.
No, now that sounded like
Clarence.
that sounded like the evil villain in like a 20s film getting punched in the nuts. Oh,
It's Jimmy Stewart getting punched in the nuts.
also probably maybe a similar sound effect or
What was that? That was Grace Kelly was in that. What a good movie.
Machine Gun Kelly.
No.
Okay.
And Raymond Burr, the guy who was in the first Americanized version of Godzilla. Good times.
Yes.
Also, Perry Mason? Yeah.
Perry Mason was a character, not an actor.
I know, but I'm saying he played Perry Mason.
Oh, okay. I was like, Perry Mason wasn't in that. He was a
It's a fictional man.
TV lawyer.
But whatever. DC is shutting down Vertigo. It's been around for, 30-ish years now. Kind of a darker line of DC. And there's a lot of bemoaning it, but Jim Lee, one of the co-publishers, said that like none of the books that Vertigo is doing is getting canceled. They're all just getting folded in under the main DC logo.
But wouldn't that so they're just kind of like they're doing the same thing just under a different title.
Yeah, I don't know. smaller imprints under DC have come and gone before. I mean, like Wildstorm's another one, that one kind of came back after getting canned. No, Vertigo's just another one. But also, with some of the changes that have been happening at DC, it kind of comes down to how much of it is from the AT&T merger.
Okay. I don't know.
Are they trying to streamline? I don't know.
Cutting costs.
As DC cancels one line, they're bringing up another one.
Ooh. What are they bringing up?
I need to look up the name of this.
You couldn't write that down in your notes?
It came up after I was done doing notes.
Oh, my Lord. Some kind of show prep you're involved in.
They're going to be doing what they're calling a pop-up line called Hill House Comics.
Interesting.
It's going to be done by Stephen King's kid, Joe Hill, famed novelist and also a great comics writer. He did Lock and Key. But they're going to be doing some horror comics with him.
I like it.
Yeah, he's great. He's a really solid writer on his own account. I mean, the reason he changed his name or his pen name is Joe Hill is because he didn't want to have...
You don't want to be Joe King?
He just didn't want to, he wanted to make it on his own merits.
Come on, that was a good joke.
I mean, kind of like Nicolas Cage changing his name.
Yeah.
Like guy who wants to just, I know that I have the connection, but I want to prove I can do it on my own. He's a solid writer.
What's in a name?
Nicolas Cage is actually from comics. It's he took it from Luke Cage.
I think we discussed this at one point.
I don't know. I'm just bringing it up. He also named his son Kal-El.
Yeah, we know this.
So he's an asshole.
No, he's not an asshole.
Don't do that to a kid.
He was going to be an emo Superman, too.
But yeah, so DC shutting down Vertigo, and they're bringing up Hill House Comics. And like Joe Hill did Lock and Key. That is one of the best series of all time. It's so good. We did do Lock and Key.
No.
We did one volume of it, I think.
Maybe
like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Everything was 3 years
it's a
ago.
Blur. Yes, this is the 3-year and some anniversary.
So, as I mentioned, it is the 30-year anniversary of Batman 1989 coming out.
Yes, the good one.
It has a lot of pacing problems.
Oh my God.
It does.
Whatever.
But
you're so critical of everything.
Also, speaking of Jim Lee, co-publisher, he didn't say it's going to happen, but he said there is a possible continuation of that world in comic book form.
Really?
He said they get pitched it all the time.
Interesting.
Like people come in, they're like, "This is what made me, interested in comics and love comics was this movie." And it's not like that world has an end.
No.
But to bring back that character in that world in comic book form, he said there's a distinct possibility.
You know what? I just had a lightning bolt, a little epiphany fluttered down into my brain. You like say things like, "Oh, that movie has pacing." Why don't you make a damn movie? Why don't you, Mr. Movie God?
Aren't I doing enough? Running a business.
Have you ever thought of writing a script, though?
I have a podcast empire.
A podcast? You have 2 podcasts.
We do fine.
I'm going to be on as many podcasts as you are in a week.
I think probably. Oh, are you doing it that soon?
Yeah, we're recording this weekend.
Oh, cool. Sorry, I didn't bring that up. You're gonna edit it, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. You're just gonna use Audacity?
Probably.
Yeah, it's free.
Is there Audacity or GarageBand? One of the two. Actually, I think. Although we're using what the heck is the name of the service we're using for hosting? That also gives us a website.
I couldn't tell you.
I can't.
Like a Podbean?
I think it is Podbean, yes.
Okay, I just threw out one.
Yes. So we'll be hosted. We'll be on all your favorite. I'll talk about it in the post-amble part of the show.
Oh, yeah. I should have brought that up before. Sorry.
That's okay. I want people, the last thing people to think of is my
steamrolled
my other better show.
What was I talking about? Batman 1989. All right, we're moving on from that. Some comics news. Doctor Strange has been canceled with issue number 20.
Well, that's strange.
What's fun, Doctor Strange, like, before the movie, hadn't been, like, in an ongoing title since, like, the early 2000s, late 90s.
Yes.
Like, there was one mini-series in 2005 that we did, The Oath, that Brian K. Vaughan wrote, where he's like, I have the cure for cancer and also Hitler's gun. It's a good time.
Seems like there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on in those 5 issues.
Oh, I thought, speaking of, hold on to that thought, because I have something that we're going to have to watch.
Hitler's gun?
No. Finish your story, and then I'll tell you a movie I learned about just yesterday, driving back home from Massachusetts, listening to the Howard Stern show, and there's this movie. I feel like we need to watch it. I'll tell you about it in a minute. Finish your story.
So I'm so glad you interrupted me to say that you're going to interrupt me to get another minute.
Yes. It's called a tease.
But, I mean, when the movie came out, the series kicked back off, and it had some great writers on it. There was Jason Aaron and Donny Cates, and the series was really great. And then Mark Waid took it over, and to be honest, it did kind of take a bit of a dive. Mark Waid is a great comics writer, but sometimes he gets put what I feel like is like he's a fill-in guy. He's a pitch hitter.
Yeah, so.
But the bad thing, though, the sad thing, is the beginning of his run was admittedly not great, but where it is right now is friggin' awesome. Dormammu is taking over Galactus, and Nightmare's running around, and it's like end of the world stuff, and it's crazy and epic and good, and I don't know. the series, it just took a little too long to get good, and now it's going back into obscurity, so we'll probably won't see another Doctor Strange series until whenever the second movie comes out, which I'm sure we're going to get a release date on either at San Diego, which Marvel is returning to, or D23. I'm not sure which one comes first.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so it's a bit of a bummer because it got good. And oh man, do you like the 90s?
I love the 90s.
Well, we got one of the most 90s things ever is coming back in graphic novel form. An adaptation of if you will, of a 90s book series. There was one a month for years. Everyone loved this. Had a 2-season show on Nickelodeon. Actually got my parents to get cable over this. And if you know my parents, that is a feat.
That is impressive. They probably just want to get you out of your room.
Animorphs is coming
Really?
back.
Wow.
In graphic novel form.
Everything old is new again. I saw a picture of a movie marquee of movies that are playing now.
Is it just from Jason Aaron put up a tweet? No, is it Tom Taylor? I don't remember.
No.
Saw a comics guy do that.
It was I'm not gonna pull that, but it's like all the movies that are now are like movies from the 90s.
Yeah.
Toy Story, Men in Black, Lion King, Aladdin. It's like, what year is this?
My all-time favorite marquee that I ever saw was in 2014. It was Transformers Sex Tape.
What? Oh, wow.
Because Transformers 4 was out. They didn't want to be like, Transformers Age of Extinction, so it just read Transformers Sex Tape.
Do you know that they
Which
did
I
that on
thought
purpose?
was-
They had to have done that on purpose.
I don't know, but it's hilarious.
Please, if you were working at a cinema and the guy's like, okay, Zach, I need you to update the marquee, here are the movies, and you saw the order, you would put Transformers above Sex Tape, so it'd be read that way. You know you would.
It was great. But yeah, so Animorphs is coming back as adaptation of the series in graphic novel form.
That's
I used
interesting.
to love those books as a kid.
Were you more of like, Animorphs was cool, but were you more Power Rangers or Animorphs?
Definitely Animorphs.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, I watched Power Rangers like when it first came. I was the target. I think I was like in first grade or something, like first or second grade when that came out. So I was like the target age for that.
Certainly
show.
were, yeah.
But I would read them every month, and I kind of fell off by the end of the series. Like it was just one of those things I outgrew. When the last book came out, I did get the last book and remember being like, well, I think I would have benefited from reading the one previous to this because it kind of picks up on a cliffhanger. So I probably missed like, I don't know, 15, 20 of the books in there, but I used to love it. Like I've got my parents to get cable over that show because I knew how much I loved it.
And it worked?
For one season. They got a deal, and when the deal went away, it's like, it was like, first year is this.
And then it goes like up by like 200%.
Yeah, and they were like, I don't care how much you like this. It's not worth this new deal.
Yeah, we're not going to. Sorry, you have to learn how to entertain yourself with other things.
Oh, no, because they got it for the second season, because it was 2 seasons, because the first season, it was on Friday nights, I remember, and I would go over to my friend's house every single Friday and spend the night over there because I could watch Animorphs.
Yeah.
So they were like, he's literally never here on weekends, so we should probably get cable.
There you go.
Fun stories.
Okay, so the movie I want to watch, I really, really want to watch it, and I feel like we should watch this together, although it's got positive reviews, and it came out last year, 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. The title of the movie is The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know about that one.
Oh, I heard it's
That's
apparently it's good.
Oh, what's his name?
Sam Elliott.
Thank you. I was gonna say Sam Neill. I wasn't quite there.
No.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it does. It's like, because when I first heard the title as I was driving, I was like, that sounds ridiculous.
Oh, it looks good. I
And they're like,
never saw it.
Sam Elliott's in. I'm like, it can't be ridiculous. Sam Elliott has the most majestic mustache in America.
I was just looking at Redbox a couple of days ago. I didn't see it in there. I don't even know if it's out yet to be viewed on home video.
I think you get it digitally.
Because I watched Us. My wife was gone, so I got to watch a horror movie.
How was that?
Fine.
That was the Jordan Peele movie,
Yeah,
right?
it's pretty good. I figured out the twist about, I'm going to conservatively say 10 minutes in.
Okay.
It was one of those movies that you would have benefited from not seeing. The trailers don't give things away, but when you kind of put the trailer with the beginning of the movie, I was like, oh, this movie is a twist, and I figured it out. It's one of those things. I'm watching it. It was definitely presented like a movie that you're supposed to watch a second time so you can kind of see the clues, but I kind of figured out what the clues were on my first viewing.
Is that more fun for you to do it that way? Like, I know what you're talking about. Like, you watch a movie and there's a twist, you're like, oh, wow. And then you go back and watch it a second time knowing the twist and you pick up on all these little...
like Sixth Sense, I think, was the first one that I did that with, like, as a kid.
Yeah.
It's good, but I entered the movie with a lot of logistical questions that kind of overshadowed everything else. And I literally had to go to the Wikipedia summary because the main villain talks like this. So I couldn't understand a lot of it, so I had to actually look up what the hell they were saying.
Huh. Okay.
Because they have like damaged vocal cords, and but it made it very difficult to understand.
Oh, that's part of the process, I suppose.
So I had to go look up, and then I read it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what they said.
Oh, well, there you go. Little post-show search, little post-show research.
It was good. It wasn't anywhere near as good as what was his first movie? I'm blanking on the title.
Something like Escape Room. No, Get Out.
Yeah, Look Out for White People.
Get Out was the name of his first movie.
Sorry, I thought it was Look Out for White People.
No, that's
because that movie was so good, like knocked it out of the park. And this movie, I think, was unfair to kind of compare the two, but you can't not.
I mean, I think it is reasonably fair to compare someone's works to. I mean,
yeah, so it's good. It's just it wasn't great, and I just ended the movie with probably more. I wasn't like, oh man, the horror. I was like,
it's not like it's taking place in the same universe.
no. I was like, how do they get all those jumpsuits and motorcycle gloves, and why does everyone have matching scissors?
Walmart, baby.
How did they get them?
Surplus stores.
Because there are millions. Where do they get them? How do they just get those?
Why not?
Why only one motorcycle glove?
You realize that you're not the only person in the world that owns the shirt you're wearing right now, right?
But not millions, and not everyone has the same one.
Oh, I guarantee there are millions of that kind of shirt out there.
Probably.
Exactly.
But not everyone. Not like the entire United States.
You don't know that.
I'm confident. Do you have this shirt?
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
Do you really?
I do.
I don't believe you.
You shouldn't.
Sometimes that happens, like because if you live in Maine and you buy something from the LL Bean signature series and it's all the same damn print.
We all look the same. Yes, it's true.
Yeah, screw it. That'll be it for news.
Can I point out that, like, allergies suck? Like, this is the time of year the allergies, like, usually this happens in the spring, but the pollen, I was in Massachusetts over the weekend, has really ramped up. I was outside camping, a lot of time outside. I am absolutely miserable right now.
I don't get allergies.
It must be nice.
It is.
You can kiss my ass. You can go straight to hell.
But from there, I don't know if the theme is going to be done at this point or not.
Pollen-filled hell.
I've asked for one. I don't know if it's here or not yet. We'll see.
He's busy working on my stuff.
But we're going to go. This will be a year-long segment. We'll be going into This Week in Comics History.
Year-long segment? I thought the show was only an hour.
So this is going to be from June 18th through June 25th.
All right. That's not a full year.
It's a week.
You said this segment was going to be a whole year.
It's going to last a year, because I'm not going to repeat this.
Oh, okay.
Couple of birthdays this week.
All right.
Fictional birthdays. This week on June 18th, the Kents found a tiny baby inside of a spaceship wrapped in a blanket with an S on it.
Oh, Brightburn.
Yes. So and then it was given as his birth date. So this is the legal birth date of Clark Kent.
The Earth date, if you would.
If you will.
Ha ha! I made it funny.
Also born on the same week, different day. Born the day after a young Cajun out of New Orleans was born. He would become leader of the Thieves Guild. Remy LeBeau himself, Gambit, born on June 19th.
Not Lestat.
No.
What movie?
Interview with the Vampire.
It's Interview with the Vampire.
I've read the book. I've seen the film.
That was actually on TV today. I watched part of it.
Also pacing issues.
I agree there. Yes. That one kind of plods along.
This one isn't comic book, but comic strip. Garfield first appeared on June 19th in 1978.
I remember that.
What a terrible comic strip.
What?
It's still going and it's so boring.
You shut up. I say I remember that because growing up, my mom had all of like the first several series of Garfield books. I remember reading the first one.
Boring series.
What do you mean it's a boring series? Garfield is funny.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Terrible.
It's funnier than Prince Valiant.
Yes, if that's your scale.
It's funnier than Family Circus.
On June 19th in 1979.
No. You time out.
Stop ringing the bell.
I'm not going to ring the bell.
I saw you going for
I thought about it, but I didn't. How do you not like Garfield? You can't get, like, I know your favorite comic strip is Calvin and Hobbes.
100%.
Yeah, and you can't,
greatest piece of American literature ever written.
Okay, and I
like
like
how
Calvin
your
and Hobbes
eyes darted to Calvin and Hobbes, which is over there.
Yes, I know. But I just don't get how you can say that Garfield is not funny and not good.
It's been going since 1978. What else is there to say?
Your point?
About this overweight cat who doesn't like Mondays.
You know, he's doing a really good job, and he loves lasagna, doesn't like dogs. John Arbuckle, still single, I think. I don't keep up with the daily Garfield strip.
Maybe he's with Liz.
Oh, yes, the diner lady.
She was a veterinarian.
Oh, yeah. Liz
so you like it, you don't even know.
Wait, is it Irma? Irma is the one who works at the...
I don't know. That one doesn't
the diner,
sound familiar.
and then there's Normal, or no, Normal.
So you don't even know the characters.
Odie, the dog.
Yeah, great. Garfield sucks.
You shut your dirty mouth.
June 19th in 1979, Jean Grey had died and rose again as the Phoenix. Much better than a movie we just saw, and also one in 2006.
All right.
In 1919 this week, famed editor Julie Schwartz was born.
Okay.
Most famous for doing his work in the 70s at DC. He's one of those kind of, Mount Rushmore names as far as, people involved with comics. The work he did is legendary. In 2003, we were all bored to death by Ang Lee's version of The Hulk. The Hulk came out. It's 3 hours long.
Is that the one with Eric Bana? Or is that the one with...
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's really boring. They tried to do stuff where they made it look like a comic book page. Kind of sucked. It was really boring.
So not good?
He fought a... Did you ever see it?
No.
I don't recommend it. It's very dull. He fought a gamma-irradiated poodle and was sad in the desert. It's not good.
Okay.
In fictional history, Captain America got the super soldier serum from the Weapon Plus program in 1943 this week,
Good for him.
where he would go on to punch Hitler in the face and then get blown up by a rocket.
Not a good... I mean, a reasonably good time.
Jack Kirby's creation, the demon Etrigan, who speaks in rhyme, was created this week in 1972. Also created this week in 1942 in Detective Comics number 66, Two-Face had his first appearance, Harvey Dent himself. Maybe we're going to talk about him in a couple of minutes.
We might. There's a possibility.
And finally, in 1971, this week in Green Lantern, Green Arrow, one of the most famous covers of all time from Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams of Speedy himself, Roy Harper, shooting up with heroin on the cover with Green Lantern popping in and saying, "My ward is a junkie."
Wow.
One of the most famous comic covers of all time. Won a lot of awards. That's a massive issue.
My ward is a junkie.
Yeah, because they just see him shooting up with heroin. He looks real sad about it.
Well, I mean, I'd be sad too if somebody I knew was shooting up heroin.
Especially your ward.
I don't have a ward, though, first of all.
You have a cat.
I do.
He just burst into your house. My cat is a junkie.
If I came home tonight and my cat was doing heroin, I would
Be impressed more than anything.
concerned because A, where did he get the heroin and the paraphernalia? But B, he has no thumbs.
So impressive.
Very.
But that'll do it for this new segment. I like this one. I think this is
it
a
was
fun
good.
one.
Yeah, that was really good. I'd also think that maybe we watched. I watched it. He was just there sleeping most of the time. The Motley Crue movie on Netflix, which has been out for a little bit. The Dirt, really good. I enjoyed it.
So not This Week in Comics.
No, but that's Jared's side movie review.
But that'll do it for This Week in Comics, a new weekly segment that we'll be doing for a year. I'm not going to repeat any of these.
All right, there you go. From the Red Skull to the Red Sox, it's Jared's Sports Reports.
That one will do.
He's running down the middle by the 50. He's at the 30. Bare-chested. The guy is drunk, but there he goes. Oh, and they tackle him at the 40-yard line.
It's time for another Jared Sports Report.
All right, sports. What the hell happened?
Well, I've been away all weekend, so I don't have a whole lot to... I haven't really been keeping up. I will say a couple of things.
NBA draft it is.
Oh, I have some side basketball stories with Maine ties. Nick Cantor-Medley, former standout here in Maine in high school, is going to be playing professional basketball in Japan. And Nick Mayo, also a Maine product, is on the Miami Heat. The developmental team will be playing in the G League for the Miami Heat affiliate. So there, two Maine kids with ties to professional basketball.
I saw the Red Sox lost a game today.
Yeah, their bullpen is terrible. They don't have a closer. Their bullpen is suspect at best. And
that was the only commentary I saw, was that they need a closer.
They've needed a closer for a while. Letting Kimbrel get away was a bad move. But they also got other problems in the bullpen as well. So, let's see.
Any news on Ortiz?
Yeah, apparently mistaken identity. He wasn't supposed to be shot. It was supposed to be his buddy. So this whole story continues to get more and more convoluted.
What are your sources on this one? Because after you used Daily Mail, I'm going to just source you.
I think it was in the Globe. So no, but there's still a lot of murkiness around this whole deal. But he's doing well. He's recovering quite nicely. So big ups to Big Papi.
Was he released or?
I believe he's still in the hospital.
Okay. And getting a shot will do that to you.
Yeah, especially through the back and out the front, and when you've had part of your spleen removed and intestine repairs and things of that nature. So
fun.
Yeah. So moral of the story, kids, is A, don't know who you associate with and who they may associate with, but also B, don't get shot.
Try not to if you can.
Sometimes those two events are not mutually exclusive. The people you hang out with may lead to you getting shot. Just saying.
Women's World Cup continues to happen.
Yes, the women beat who they beat the other day. They're playing in the semifinal against France on Friday. So a lot of people think that's the actual final. The team that wins that, they anticipate will win the whole thing. So big match, I should say. It's not a game, it's a match. Big match for the U.S. women's soccer team on Friday at 3:00.
You ready for the NBA?
Yes, you can.
Because, oh, baby, things are happening.
This is really, you're hijacking the segment. You've hijacked this segment. It's gone from Jared Sports Reports to Inside the NBA with Zach.
Kawhi has waived his player option, although he says he is seriously consider re-signing with the Raptors. Looks like it's between the Clippers and the Raptors right now.
Yes, and you know how many people care?
Probably a lot.
Mostly the people of Toronto and Los Angeles.
So all of Canada.
Most of Canada.
All of Canada wants him to stay. A whole country.
All right.
Aaron Baines was traded away from the Celtics. They lost all of Australia.
Yes, they did lose all of Australia.
For some draft picks. Celtics got 4 players in the draft. A couple of them are interesting. The 51st pick, he's definitely just going to go to the G League. But one of the ones, Carson Edwards, I had a lot of fun watching him in the NCAA tournament. He made it to the Elite Eight.
Yes.
Where he was for Purdue, and he was just drilling threes, and then they went to overtime, and then he threw a horrible pass that made them lose the game. But he was really dynamic and a lot of fun to watch. Grant Williams has been really fun with his interviews. Like, before he was drafted to the Celtics, he'd apparently done an interview. His mom works for NASA. So they were asking him stuff about NASA. He's like, there's not a lot I can say, but I can say that Kyrie Irving's flat earth theory is scientifically inaccurate. So the second he got drafted, that's all I saw on my Twitter feed was just that video clip. Like, welcome to the Celtics. Have fun with Kyrie, for a week.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I kind of got excited about, a guy who didn't get drafted, but he did get picked up for a summer league and some workouts, so he might go to the G League, if anything, is they got Taco Fall.
Yes. That's the one that, he was fun to watch.
7'6". Yeah, he's just a beast. He's not good, but he's a beast.
Well, I mean, 7'6" is 7'6". If you can go out there for 5 minutes a game and give you inside presence. And...
Yeah, so he's going to be in summer league. So the summer league games should at least be fun to watch. And then if they pick him up, he'll just go to the Red Claws. So potentially a really fun guy to watch.
I would love to go see him live and to watch somebody 7'6" just kind of lumber by.
Where it's not impressive if you dunk. Like, if you can just reach the rim, it's not impressive.
He did dunk once, and his feet were on the floor still.
He's so big. So, I mean, that'll at least make the summer league games fun to watch.
There you go.
What else? Pelicans obviously picked up Zion with the number 1. Because who else were they going to get?
Not Taco Fall.
No one drafted him. Poor Taco.
No, he's with the Celtics organization. I contend otherwise.
Just on a very short-term contract.
Whatever. All right, so that was it for Jared's Sports Reports and Zach's Around the NBA.
I was going to think if there was anything else big. Oh, Kevin Durant waived his player option.
Yes, I saw that.
But I mean, he's still, I'd say it's still probably likely he's going to get back with Golden State, and they'll probably offer him like 5-year max, but who knows?
Well, the Achilles is going to be a big determinant of that, too.
Yeah, it'll be, I mean, he's out all of next year.
Yes, that is correct.
But he's still one of the, I mean, he has the thinnest skin in the world, and also right now a weak Achilles.
Too soon. Too soon.
He doesn't have thin skin. He argues with like teenagers on Instagram who say he's bad.
You argue with people on the internet on this show. You yell at people on the internet.
I don't ever argue with anyone on like social media. I just yell at them one-sided.
Yes, exactly.
I don't engage.
You kind of engage. You perpetuate the conversation by bringing it up.
Anything else? Oh, Celtics talk about going for Kemba Walker is up.
Yeah, I'd read that there were rumors that Kemba Walker would be a strong play. If they make a play and they get Kemba Walker, and maybe that entices Kyrie to come back. But
no, because
Kyrie was saying that he liked the Knicks organization, I think it was, because they have got role players that can step up, so he doesn't always have to win games.
And Kemba is like Kyrie. I like Kemba a lot. They still need to get a center though, because right now they don't have anyone. What are they going to use? Like Yabu? Like if there's no Horford and there's no Baines, they don't have a center right now.
You realize it's June 20-something?
Yep, and free agency starts Sunday at 6.
Oh gosh! So next week on Jared Sports Reports, and we'll have a full segment on Zach's free agency breakdown.
Can't wait. Come on. You could do this. I don't know what happens in other sports. You could do the same thing if you wanted to.
I could, but that's not the premise of the show. This is just a small little chunk of the show.
It's a time for you to shine.
That's okay. I have another show in which I can shine with my sports knowledge.
So I gave you a segment and you said, screw it, I'm doing a show.
Yes, you do not get any kind of copyright or creative rights to the show.
I swear to God, if you call it Jared Sports Reports.
Nope, not called Jared Sports Reports. I'll reveal the title for the show at the end of the show.
Great. But I guess I ran out of NBA news. I was watching some boxing the other night. Had a good time.
Yeah, boxing is kind of making a little bit. Boxing, MMA. I kind of like watching MMA.
I like watching. I don't know. I like watching boxing more. There's something more classic about it. I had a good time with boxing the other night.
Yes, boxing is fun to watch. MMA is a little more brutal, a little more visceral, but that's pretty neat.
I have nothing to say really because I'm not that big. It was just fun. Had a good time.
Yeah.
I watched a couple hours of boxing. Had a good time.
Good for you. I'm proud of you.
We're going to be moving on to a good old review of a movie that came out in 1995. Generally panned, but is it that bad?
I'll get drive-through.
We're going to move on to a review of Batman Forever.
I'm the best there is at what I do. But what I do best isn't very nice.
It's time for an Editor's Note podcast review.
We'll be going through this series slowly.
Very.
It's a 4-movie series.
Yeah,
I didn't want
plotting.
to do a month of it, so we've just been spacing it. Which does mean, yes, we are going to get to Batman and Robin in a couple of months.
Hold on, I got to respond to this. Yeah, see, I'm going to tell you right up front and right now.
Did you actually rewatch this?
I did.
Oh, did you? Good for
I
you.
enjoyed it.
I was questioning if you're actually... I know this well enough.
I do know it pretty well. I like it. It's fun, and I enjoy it.
I haven't seen it in, I don't know, let's say 10 years feels right. It might be more.
Okay,
no, 10 years feels about right.
But you've seen it recently now.
I just rewatched it, yeah. And to be compared to the stuff we've watched for the show, like a Howard the Duck or those like direct-to-video Captain Americas, at least this thing has a damn budget.
Is that how you describe it? At least it had a budget?
It does. I mean, it's flashy and it's big. And for a little while, it has a decent pace. I was watching it. I'm like, okay, I'm not bored yet. The second they introduce Chris O'Donnell, it comes to a screeching halt. But before him, it's moving along with a nice clip.
There were some heavy hitters in that movie, too. Some big name. Tommy Lee Jones. Jim Carrey was huge in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, this was kind of like the peak Jim Carrey. Like, The Mask was out. Ace Ventura. I think this is 100% when Jim Carrey was at his peak.
Oh, I mean, but then after this, I guess he got into like Me, Myself, and Irene, The Truman Show, Man on the Moon. So he got into some more serious stuff after this.
No, this was definitely peak Carrey. And actually, one of my bigger complaints is him because he was so popular and so famous at the time. Every scene with him could have been trimmed. But they let it go on for a little too long every time he's on screen. He's just there a little. He outstays his welcome in literally every scene.
Yeah. Other big names that you had Tommy Lee Jones,
who replaced Billy D. Williams in the role of Harvey Dent, and that's what Billy D. was promised when he took over that role. And I've seen him at cons, and he still uses Batman on like his banner. It's like Star Wars, Batman, Colt 45.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I would have preferred to have seen Billy D. because I like Tommy Lee Jones in everything but this. This is like the one thing I don't like.
Well, this is also like a run of really good. Like Tommy Lee Jones was on a pretty good run too. We had
The Fugitive,
U.S. Marshals.
U.S. Marshals wasn't out yet, not by 95.
No, it was out after that. But he got a
boy. That movie was on endlessly in the 2000s on cable. That was like
what, U.S. Marshals.
It was like U.S. Marshals.
That was also on cable the other day.
It was basically U.S. Marshals, Airheads, and High Fidelity, and that's what was on cable in the early 2000s.
But he was coming off of what year did Fugitive come out? 93, I think, right? So The Fugitive had come out, and he had got a Best Supporting Actor nod for that. Let's see.
But he doesn't do anything. Mostly it's just him cackling, and he makes noises.
But yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, like when this came out in 95.
Yep.
Coming out of that, he played Ty Cobb in the movie Cobb. He was in Natural Born Killers, The Client.
Oh, that's a good one.
The Fugitive, Under Siege, JFK. Like he was in a lot of.
I forgot he was in JFK. That's a good movie.
It's a great movie. Like he had a run of it, and then
this.
So then here's the weird thing, right? He goes from Batman Forever in 1995 and doesn't do anything for 2 years after that.
Does he need to? He has money.
His next movies after that were Volcano, Men in Black, and U.S. Marshals.
You know, it's been popping up on just
all those movies came out 97, 98. Like bang, bang.
You know what movie I forgot was just excellent?
What?
The first Men in Black. The
that
sequels
yes.
The first movie is excellent. It is a fantastic movie.
They do a great job of.
I forgot how good that movie was.
They do a great job of building a universe, and and just it was a lot of fun.
The performances are great. It's kind of gritty. It feels almost like the 90s version of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it really was. It had a little bit of everything that you needed, and it was fun. But anyway,
the sequels are no good, so it's just like Ghostbusters.
Okay. But let's go back to the task at hand, Batman Forever.
Tommy Lee Jones making noises at you. There was, of course, that story that came out just a couple of years ago. Let's say 3, because that's the theme. It actually might be about 3 years ago, of Jim Carrey. I forget where he said it, but it was
on a couple of different shows.
I think it was like a radio thing. I didn't look it up, whatever.
Radio, but I think it came out longer than 3 years ago, but where he talks about going
It hasn't been that long. Like, he saw
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones out to dinner, and Tommy Lee Jones came up to him, kind of gave him a hug and whispered into his ear. He's just goes, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery."
Well, no, so I'm going to do a little show correction here, because I did research on this, and I watched the interview.
So where was it?
It was on Norm Macdonald's show.
Norm Macdonald?
Yes.
Holy hell.
So anyway, he went out to dinner, and he saw Tommy Lee Jones eating dinner by himself, so he went over to say hi, and he said, like, the blood just kind of rushed out from Tommy Lee Jones. He became pale and started to physically, like, shake and be angry. He just goes, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery. I hate you."
Did he say "I hate you"?
I believe "I hate you" is... So this all happened, though, the night before they had their biggest scene together the next day.
Amazing.
"I cannot sanction your buffoonery."
Which is weird, because all Tommy Lee Jones does in that movie is buffoonery. It's just him going, "Well, there's 2 of us in the acid that made us."
Oh, God. That was terrible.
The dog reacted.
Oh, well, I can't blame him for reacting.
Oh, so can I tell you my favorite scene from this movie?
Yes.
Which they don't actually deal with.
Okay.
They show a video of Harvey Dent getting acid thrown on his face,
Yes.
and Batman rushes to his defense.
How did Batman get in the courtroom?
He's just sitting there. He's just sitting in the courtroom because they cut to Batman like jumping over pews, I guess.
Benches. There are benches in a courtroom. I
Call them
think.
pews.
Whatever.
But it's just Batman leaping over these pews. So he's just sitting there in full costume during this trial.
Is he there as a character witness, or?
No, he's just sitting there. They never address it, but they just show him. They show him there and show him jumping over things. That just means Batman was there, just sitting there. I've been to courtrooms, not for me.
Remember we talked about that Lucky thing?
But Batman's just sitting there watching, and then he gets acid thrown on his face, and Batman's like, "No!"
And he blames Batman for it. I mean, you're the district attorney in
amazing.
Gotham. You've got to come to the conclusion that people are going to attack you.
Then, screw it. I want to tackle this.
Okay.
For as bad as this movie is,
it is not bad.
It is bad.
It's not bad.
It is a bad movie.
I enjoy it.
But here's the thing.
Put it in context. For 1995, is it bad?
Yes.
Whatever.
I've seen some 90s movies.
Yes, more than one, I would
They're
imagine.
mostly crap.
Wow. Okay.
Most movies in the 90s are crap. There are exceptions, of course.
All right.
They got your Tarantinos, you got your Robert Rodriguez's, you're at your Scent of a Woman. Don't know why I went with that one.
Al Pacino.
Ooh-ah.
Anyway, continue.
But every single person, with the exception of Michael Goth, who plays Alfred, who did it in all 4 movies.
Yes.
Every single person overacts their ass off. And I gotta think that's direction. I think for as bad as this movie is, it is the specific kind of weird and bad that they were going for. Because I don't think you can have every single person go just nuts
now,
and not have that be specific direction.
So let me bring up the one person we haven't talked about in this movie, Val Kilmer.
I thought you were going to say Nicole Kidman because she goes nuts.
Well, regardless. But Val Kilmer. I mean, Val Kilmer as Batman.
Overacts his ass off. Also, a man who doesn't know how to smile.
He's not supposed to smile. He's Batman.
He does that one thing where Nicole Kidman's character, we're just going to call her Nicole Kidman, and she's like,
That's Dr. Chase Meridian.
I'm really in love with Bruce Wayne. And then just to camera, he does the most awkward smile I've ever seen. I don't think Val Kilmer's ever experienced joy because he doesn't understand what a smile is supposed to look like.
You know, how often does Batman really smile when he's wearing the cowl?
I don't think it was a Batman thing. I think it was a Val Kilmer thing. That's the weirdest shot in that movie. Is just that grin to camera. It's so awkward. There's no teeth. It's all lip. Ugh. It's a gross looking shot.
But let's talk about the run of movies that Val Kilmer had at the same time when you talk about some
I
of
don't
the...
think Val Kilmer's bad as an actor. I just
No.
I think everyone
But
was
you
given
look
the
at-
direction overact.
This, I'm going to make the
Chew
argument.
the
I want to make the
scenery.
argument this is one of the first... It was the first ensemble superhero movie.
I would have to double check that.
Like with with this kind of star power behind it. Because in 91, he made The Doors. He was Jim Morrison in The Doors.
That's a good look.
93, he was Doc Holliday in Tombstone. And then he
Good
comes into
movie.
Batman in 95. Plus, he was also in the movie Heat in 95.
I've never seen Heat.
Oh, such a good movie.
I know it. I know so much about it, and I've seen so many clips. I've never seen it.
And plus, he
That
was
is
a
one I
top-
really do want to see.
Real Genius in 85, Top Gun in 86. So, like, Val Kilmer, another massively known
He's a
quantity.
hot commodity.
Yes.
A commodity that doesn't know how to smile.
If you look at some of the... Just look at the big actors involved in this. All right?
Mrs. Tom Cruise herself.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman. I'm pulling up her filmography from the early 90s right now as we speak.
Are you not on the Wi-Fi?
I am on the Wi-Fi.
I don't know if you know the password.
I do know the password.
Well, I guess you probably knew it long enough to type it in once.
True. That's all I have to do.
I don't even know the password.
But here's where I think if the movie struggles with anything,
Why is my foot bleeding?
I don't know.
Look at this.
Huh.
What the hell happened there?
I don't know.
Why am I bleeding?
This is a... But
How did I not notice this?
My argument is with where the movie might struggle with, although I will say that like Nicole Kidman was kind of a known quantity at this point, but she really had been in what up to this point, Days of Thunder.
Is American Beauty out yet?
American Beauty wasn't out yet. To Die For, but after this, she was in like The Peacemaker, Practical Magic, Eyes Wide Shut, Moulin Rouge.
Okay, you just said two movies I've never heard of.
What, Practical Magic?
The first two you said, I was like, nope.
To Die For?
Nope.
It's a decent movie.
Never heard of it. Or I haven't heard of it in almost 30 years, if I've heard of it at all.
So you had some powerful actors, you know, near the top, and then of course Chris O'Donnell.
And let's just talk about Chris O'Donnell.
All right.
You know, Batman's ward.
What's funny is when you bring him up on IMDb, his picture, like his movie trailer, is him from Batman and Robin's, like best known for.
Well, he was on like an NCIS or something, or a CSI, one of those.
No, but he was kind of he was one of those young, hot Hollywood, like they're trying to recreate.
But that's the thing. He's supposed to be Robin. He's supposed to be Batman's ward. Guess how old he was when he filmed this?
In his 30s?
No, he actually looks older than he is.
Oh, no, he was like in his late... Oh, no, he's like early 20s.
I can tell you exactly what it is. I did the math.
What was it?
25.
That's right, because
he's supposed to show up and be Bruce Wayne's ward. He's like, oh man, family services, they can't get me. I'm like, you're an adult. You're a full-grown man. You don't even look young for your age. If anything, you look older than you are.
But he was in some really good movies. Speaking of one, Son of a Woman. He was in Son of a Woman. He was in Fried Green Tomatoes, Three Musketeers.
Fried Green Tomatoes is good.
So he had some power going into that too.
But he's not young enough to be someone's ward, and he doesn't look the part at all, and nothing he does is interesting. He whines, he dries his laundry in, I'm going to throw this in big-ass air quotes, a cool way.
Yes, he does. He wrings it out, whips it.
He does it with guitar behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just imagine that without the guitar. It's so... Kirby, what are you doing?
What is your dog doing?
Get down. What are you doing? You're being a weirdo. That's why I take your collar off, because you would jingle too much. He's awful. He, like, watching the movie, I'm like, it's going along at a nice clip. He brings it to a grinding halt.
I kind of like the... They
try so hard.
The circus scene is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, because that's like real people doing real things for some of it.
Yeah. Do you know who the ringmaster is in that?
I guess not off the top of my head.
Rene Auberjones.
No, he is in the movie, but he's there later.
Oh no, he's at the end of the movie.
He's that's
he's
Odo.
the doctor at Asylum. Yeah. Oh, who was? Wait, the ringmaster was somebody that was also famous.
I
at
forgot
the time.
I forgot to bring up that Odo from Deep Space Nine is in this at
Yes.
the end for a minute. And he's not even yelling at Quark about what he's doing with his bar and his porn holodeck.
Whatever. You don't have enough gold press platinum. So
he did that a lot. That was the noise he did.
Yes,
that was what he did a lot. It's like, oh man, Quark, I don't like you, but really, you're my best friend.
All right. Well, back to the movie.
They were great.
They were.
I'd rather talk about Deep Space Nine.
I know you would rather. Let's see.
Let's talk about the Dominion War.
Oh, Drew Barrymore was also in this.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even recognize her.
Yes.
But yeah, she's one of Tom. She's the angel.
She's Sugar.
She's Tommy Lee Jones' courtesan, I guess we'll call her.
Guess who else was in this?
I don't know.
Jon Favreau.
Where? Okay, I'm not getting that one.
As an assistant.
Okay, yeah.
So he was.
I have no idea.
He may have been one of the people walking with Bruce through where they were checking out all the new tech and things. Maybe I'll have to go back and double check.
I have no idea where Favreau was in this.
Oh, George Wallace was in it. George Wallace played the role of the mayor. Wow.
The ending is really stupid where Batman's like, what do I do? Go by sea or boat. And it's just the same thing. They get there an equal amount of distance, and that scene exists purely to sell toys.
And not that, but also to have the battleship scene where Joker and Two-Face, C2, you sunk my battleship. And Jim Carrey just chews it up and eats it up. But there's a little homage to Batman 66 in it, though.
There is at the very end, that final shot of the two of them running in front of the light.
No, before that.
Yes, the Holy Rusted Metal Batman.
Holy Rusted Metal Batman. Holy Rusted Metal Batman.
He's no Burt Ward.
Listen, there's some good action sequences. There was a big marketing tie-in with McDonald's. That's why that one line was in the movie, so they could clip from it and put it in.
I do remember that ad. I also remember the OnStar ads. And there's certainly one thing I remember: be a kiss from a rose.
Seal. That was a big.
How did he marry Heidi Klum? He looks like Hamburger.
Easy.
Have you seen his face?
Yeah, I have.
It's not good.
It was one of the top movies of the year. There was a distinct
what
shift
happened
in
to
music.
his face?
There was also a distinct shift in music from the early 90s, early to mid 90s to late 90s, early 2000s through now. There were a lot of
do you remember
big summer blockbuster movies had those big love themes.
They had those, yeah. I mean, the first Spider-Man had it with Nickelback. And they say that a hero can save us. Not gonna stand here. I don't know why I'm doing it with a twang.
First of all, it wasn't Nickelback. It was Chad Kroeger with Josie Scott.
Wait, was that not Nickelback?
It was not Nickelback.
So it was just a guy from Nickelback
it
with
was the
someone
lead singer.
else?
Yes.
So worse than Nickelback.
Oh, come on.
Bravo, sir.
Let's see. Who sang it with him? I want to say it was Josie Scott.
I remember that music video. It's a decent music video. The Batman Forever one was no good, though. Don't watch.
Josie Scott
from
who was the lead vocalist of Saliva at the time.
Oh, well, Saliva.
Yes.
Thank God.
Two nu metal heavyweights.
Is Nickelback new metal?
Yeah, Nickelback's in a league of its own. But no, they're "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal is a pretty good song.
I remember one of the very first CDs that was in my house. My mom bought a Seal CD. It was Seal, Big Willie style.
Those are two different albums.
I know. I was saying there was a couple. There were three. What was the third one? I want to say it was an Alanis Morissette. I think she might have had Jagged Little Pill.
Everybody had Jagged Little Pill.
The only three CDs my mom ever bought.
Everybody had Jagged Little Pill.
And Big Willie style. And I remember the cover. It was just someone naked lying down. There was a teal background.
What, Seal's album?
Yeah.
You're talking about the 1994 album. He's not naked. I mean, he might be, but he's not laying on a teal background.
No, I definitely remember there being teal. Or
is it this one?
That's the one.
Which one was that? That's Seal, Human Being.
What else is in this movie? Tommy Lee Jones dies because Batman throws some coins.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to say about it. It's just stupid.
How about the concept, though, of the box? You put it on the TV and you get
It's just a VR headset. It's not even a very good one.
See, this movie was ahead of its time.
VR existed in the 90s.
This movie was ahead of its time.
I remember going to carnivals. They're get in the VR box. There was literally VR things you could get into.
Remember, was it Game Boy VR?
No, that was the Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy, yeah.
There were only 6 or 7 games for that.
It was all wireframe.
Yeah, I've never played one myself.
Yeah, it was all wireframe.
Everything was red. I'm aware of it, but
it was a thing. It happened.
I certainly didn't, because no one bought it, so I certainly didn't know anyone that had one.
There were some good, but you know what? There were some good action pieces. I thought one of the cooler scenes visually was when Chris O'Donnell steals the Batmobile, but then he fights that gang in that neon rave situation.
So bad.
Oh, come on. Doesn't the hero get a kiss? Yeah, I'm Batman.
Sexually aggressive Batman.
He stole the car. The other car.
The other car.
There are a couple
pieces. He's great. I love Alfred.
No,
I said Alfred because he is. Michael Gotham. He's great. There's a weird actor that shows up twice who overacts his ass off in 2 different scenes, and he might be 2 different characters. I'm not sure. At the very beginning, Batman gets locked into a safe.
Oh, he's
like, it's boiling acid. Wow.
See, you're overdoing it a little bit.
No, he overdid it. And then there's a scene later on where Batman shows up and he wraps his arm around Nicole Kidman. And he just goes, "It's Batman!" Holy hell! How are you in 2 scenes? How are you in 1 scene? You're real. Do you know the scene I'm talking about? It's very fast, but like that's the same guy and he's overacting in the same way.
You're a certified wacko.
It's Batman.
You're a certified wacko.
It's no good.
Is that a technical term, Doctor?
Ugh.
Listen. I like Val Kilmer. He's probably of the Joel Schumacher, Tim Burton Batmans. He's number 2. I like him. He's I'm gonna have to rewatch Batman and Robin to say if he's better or worse than Clooney. Oh, he's so much better than Clooney.
I can't.
So much better.
I am not going to make a ruling on it until I rewatch that movie because it's been a while.
But the Batman and Robin movie is just so absurd.
I can at least watch Arnold.
Yes.
Did you? I don't think I saw this in theaters. I think I caught it on VHS.
See, when I see Batman and Robin, I don't see George Clooney playing Bruce Wayne. I just see George Clooney.
Batman and Robin I saw in theaters. I don't think I saw this one in theaters.
I saw this one in theaters. Batman Forever, I saw it in theaters.
I'm going to give it 50-50. I might have.
No, I think this is...
The only reason I specifically remember seeing Batman and Robin in theaters is I just remember how frustrated my dad was at how bad he hated that every second of that movie. He did not want to be there. That's the only reason I remember going to see Batman and Robin.
Wow.
He was like vocal. He's like, ugh, oh my God. Oh. It was like that for 2 hours.
I would say this is definitely worth a rewatch. I think it is a very rewatchable Batman movie.
I will never see this again. This is definitely the last time I'm ever going to watch it.
What if I bought you a bottle of whiskey and said, let's drink whiskey and watch Batman Forever?
Then I do it.
See, exactly. So
never. Wait, hang on. Is it good whiskey?
Yeah, it'd be like middle shelf whiskey.
Okay, I'll take
affordable.
I won't do bottom shelf whiskey.
Like if I brought over like some Jack Daniels.
That's good. I don't. Yeah.
Or Jim Beam.
Yeah.
That's more bourbon than whiskey, but still.
I do Jim Beam.
I have both those at my house right now.
I don't have any whiskey in the house.
That's unfortunate for you.
Sorry. But I don't know. This movie, high production value. I think it's dragged down. It's doing okay, but I think some of the performances bring it down more than anything, which I'm going to blame more on the director than I am the actors because, these are all top-notch actors.
Yeah. I mean, So my argument is that this movie was...
In no way is it anywhere near close to the worst thing that we've talked about on the show. We have watched some serious bottom-of-the-barrel crap, and this is mainstream and bad, but that doesn't make it like the worst thing ever by any stretch.
I feel like this is one of the first big-time, multiple star power superhero movies that we got. And I think that the movie does suffer a little bit from the fact that all of these heavy hitters needed something big to do. And I think it's like we've got all this power, this firepower, this star power. We need to highlight everything. Jim Carrey, we need to highlight just his contortionism and his comedic value because he's one of the funniest men in Hollywood and he can do all these crazy things with his face and his body. And
nothing.
Tommy Lee Jones has this ability
funny,
to
like making some kind of like donk noise when he grabs his crotch. Hilarious.
Do you like this jacket? It keeps me safe when I'm jogging at night.
One weird Shatner impression.
No, that's how he delivered the lines, though. See, but you had that. You had Nicole Kidman, who was the femme fatale in that. Chris O'Donnell, the young sex figure, he had to have his moments. He had just come out of a couple of big movies where he was kind of that young heartthrob, son of a woman. He was D'Artagnan in Three Musketeers. So this was kind of a confluence of...
Weird that you called him a sex figure.
He was, though.
O'Donnell heads unite.
I mean, he's no Christian Slater, but anyway,
I guess this is a conversation we're having now. O'Donnell is way hotter than Slater.
See, there you go.
Slater looks like a frog.
You fell victim to the classic blunder. I talked you into my point.
He has bad hair and he has flappy frog lips.
He was also in an interview with the vampire.
Yeah, okay.
It all comes full circle.
Don't know why I had to go there, but I'll take O'Donnell over Slater any day.
There you go. I'm proud of you.
What's your pick? O'Donnell or Slater?
Chris O'Donnell, absolutely.
Then stop bringing up Christian Slater.
He was young. I only brought him up once to prove my point that Chris O'Donnell was a young sex figure.
Weird.
Son of a woman.
Ooh-ah.
Anyhow.
I'll do that every time you say son of a woman, I swear to God.
Or what if I said Al Pacino?
Ooh-ah.
If I say Al Pacino, would you just do that too?
I'll go Dunkachino.
Oh my God.
From Jack and Jill. Oh yeah, baby.
Son of a bitch.
Ah, what a movie.
All right. Well, that's
way worse than Batman Forever.
I think that's it for Batman Forever.
All right. From there, just time.
Also, but quick side note, thinking more about Robin, he was pretty much useless in this movie as far as like being Batman's sidekick. Yeah, I mean, he did pull him out of the rubble of the fire, but after that, he gets caught almost immediately. If it wasn't for Batman, he was going to get his ass beat.
Blown up.
Yeah. He screws up in the boat.
A partner.
The way you do it just ruins it for me. I still think it's a watchable movie. It's a good rainy day movie.
I'll never watch it again. It's not very good, but it's not the worst.
Exactly. Like, if you just want a mind-numbing rainy day movie, go for it. If this movie were ever on TV, I think this would be one that I'd get sucked into for a little bit.
I gotta tell you, I think I'm more excited to do Batman and Robin, because at least you get, like, Uma Thurman going nuts with the overacting. You get Schwarzenegger at least having a good time.
Yeah, but then you also have the Bat card. I never leave the cave without it. Yep,
That just...
Plastic lips. They play ice hockey with a diamond.
And how are the blades in their boots?
Exactly.
That doesn't even make sense.
They channel the sun around the earth to warm people up.
And how does someone who wants to have plants take over work with someone who wants to have ice take over? Those two things don't go together.
Exactly.
Whatever, we'll get there when we get there. So moving on from there, we move on to letters to the editors.
Now for my favorite part of the show. What's that say? Talk to the audience. Oh, God, this is always death.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
This week, this comes out of a thing that happened on the internet. I was going to talk about it in news, but then we got presented with the question. Also, if you want to have your own questions answered, editorsnotecomics@gmail.com. You can also ask on Facebook, Twitter, probably not Instagram. I haven't opened that account in months.
No wonder you don't respond to my food snaps.
But, yeah, if you want to write us something, we are dangerously low. Last week we didn't even have anything. Thankfully, we have some in the tank now, but we're still low. So,
all right,
write us.
Lay it on me. What's the question?
This week it was announced that J.J. Abrams and his son Henry are co-writing a Spider-Man miniseries.
Oh.
But there was this whole thing on Twitter where Marvel was counting down. It started with a number 4.
Yes.
Spider-Man Web in 4, as it said, #Marvel Comics. So people are like of two minds, like, oh, this is going to be a comic adaptation of Spider-Man 4 because we know that material exists. Or another side was saying, oh, it's going to be Spider-Man teaming up with the Fantastic Four. He's done that a bunch for like a miniseries or something. Or a third faction of idiots who are like, oh, there's going to be a Spider-Man 4 movie, even though it says #Marvel Comics.
Okay.
That last one, geez, those some stupid-ass people.
Well, it doesn't sound like they're very bright, no.
But they did this for every day. It was like 4, 3, 2, 1. And the last time they did kind of a countdown thing, or it was a count up, I should say. It was leading up to Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Coming back. But there was a lot of speculation, and also within the speculation over these course of 4 days, Marvel editor-in-chief C.B. Cebulski was making jokes just about every day about people being wrong and people being dumb. And then it was just announced that it's J.J. Abrams' the Nepotism series that he's co-writing with his son.
I like that.
And people were like, why the countdown? Why are we doing this? So the question asked to us is, what do you think about companies trolling their fans for just an announcement?
You know what it does? It generates a little traffic, gets you hyped up. I'm okay with it. I mean, you have to be okay with it. I mean, Marvel trolled people with some post-credit scene stuff.
Yeah, I think the part that kind of turns me off is the editor-in-chief making like these weird cracks about it. And even I threw up a thing. I'm like, is it going to be a sequel to One More Day, which is like the most hated Spider-Man series of all time, where he had to give up his marriage to the devil to save Aunt May? Maybe we'll do that one someday. I don't have that slated, but that'll be a good one for us to do someday. We'll do one more day.
One day we shall do this.
Yeah.
I'm mostly okay with it. I think because I think it serves two purposes. It can also kind of gauge the fan interest in something else completely different that, sure, there's a bit of a swerve, but if it like got people really excited about a certain thing, then it's like, well, maybe then there's also interest in this that we can pursue that as well. So
I don't really know how I feel about it. There are people who have done, who've gone from like movies into doing comics. That's happened a bunch of times, from Jeff Loeb, Kevin Smith, Joss Whedon. It's happened a bunch of times. CM Punk, throwing out names of people who have used their fame to do comics. But at the end of the day, as a retailer and as the guy who's going to be, actually the one spending the money on this, I don't actually see this doing anything. I don't think it's going to increase the sales. I don't think it's going to decrease the sales. I think that I'm going to have it in my order next month, and it's just going to be a miniseries.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be sold on its own merits. It's going to have to be good to be sold, period. So if you generate a little hype for it, you can generate a little hype for it.
Yeah, even going into it, I don't my instinct is to, if they had just said what it was versus doing this countdown, it is not going to affect the number that I'm going to that I predict will sell. It doesn't affect that one way or the other.
All right.
I'm not going to use this countdown or this, like, I'm going to do it on the merits of it's a Spider-Man miniseries. Spider-Man's popular. Okay, it's J.J. Abrams. We have a little bit of extra marquee value. So I'll probably do a little bit more on issue 1 than I would normally. But then for issue 2, I'm going to slash that in half.
Depends on how issue 1 goes. If it sells out.
Well, I don't have those options. I don't know. That's probably the problem with ordering comics.
You're in the speculation market.
I don't really know what the numbers are until if it's a monthly title, I don't really know until like issue 3 what my real numbers are. Usually you cut, or the way I do it, and I think probably most people do it too, is you order a lot for number 1, and then you just cut it by 50% for number 2, and then you do even less for number 3.
Well, I guess it makes law of diminishing returns.
Yeah. So the J.J. Abrams name will probably make me kick it up a hair, but not a lot. And then for issue 2, I'm just going to slash it because I imagine that people aren't going to come back to it.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against like J.J. Abrams. That's just
also you've got to kind of get it right the first time, because by the time you order a second go round of it, somebody else will have gotten it somewhere.
Yeah. And I mean, the big, and now it's a weird conversation about comics ordering. I mean, I hope it's a monthly series. I hate it. Like this month, Absolute Carnage is a series that's coming, and it's been hyped for a long time. And there's been a good amount of hype around it. And I mean, comics marketing is kind of guerrilla marketing. It's mostly through the writers and the artists and the retailers who are also doing it. Like, retailers are a big part of comics marketing, but like Absolute Carnage is coming out in a couple of months, and there were so many tie-in books. There was the first couple issues were in the order, and I was like, I'm not going nuts on this. Like, you want me to go nuts on this, but I'm not going to go crazy.
One thing I've noticed a little bit more, maybe it's, I don't know if it's just like, if it's a thing or not, but I've noticed some more TV advertisements about comics.
There has been. DC, I don't know if Marvel's been doing anything with TV, but DC definitely has, which is good. I mean, get real marketing out there. Don't just have it be as guerrilla as it is, because it's very secular the way that they've been doing it. This became a different conversation than it started as.
You got a couple of different answers to different questions. There you go.
I guess the answer is, it's weird to troll people, but ultimately I don't think it's going to affect sales one way or the other.
I think if
they had just said what it was.
If they're using it to gauge multiple things, then sure, go for it.
Also, I would be surprised if that Sam Raimi universe is done. I think you could bring it back in comic book form. I think there is a decent likelihood of an Into the Spider-Verse sequel, like cameo or something from that universe.
That'd be cool. I'd be all about that.
You don't have to do it live action. You could do it 100% animated to have the styles match.
Yes.
You could definitely get that universe to come back in a couple of ways. You'll never see a Spider-Man 4, but you could definitely see that universe back.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, you could see a Spider-Man 4, like if it's like going to be like Old Man Peter, but that'll be in, 20 years.
I'd watch it.
I would do. All right, that'll do it for this week. You have announcements about your own separate thing.
Yeah, but first I would like to say, if you want to support this show, go to patreon.com/editorsnotecomics. $1 a month gets you this show a whole day early from when it gets released. Normally on Wednesdays, although I think during the summer it'll be a little later in the week because Tuesdays and Thursdays are tough for me during the summer. But
that's an off-air conversation.
That's an off-air conversation. But regardless, you'll get this show a day early, plus Patreon exclusive spoiler and spoiler-free reviews of Buffy, Angel, and Firefly from Zach and Emily. And he's pulling hair off of his dog as we speak.
Shedding, it's warm.
Finally, spring and summer have arrived. Also, if you want to do $5 a month, you can become a Duke or Duchess of the podcast. Get your name thrown up in audio lights. You can also visit Zach at 210 Water Street in Hollowell. That's where the store is, although not this weekend. Probably a bad time to visit the store because it'll be closed. Zach's on vacation for the first time ever, but he'll be back on Monday.
I know. I haven't closed the store in 3 years.
I know. Good for you, though. Good for you.
I need it.
You do. You need to do a little self-care. It's important. You can also visit Zach online on Facebook, Instagram, which I guess he never checks, Twitter, and you can also go to editorsnotecomics.com.
That's really where it's all at.
Yes.
And you're on Twitter.
At Junior Rich.
And somewhere else.
Next week, I'm thinking by Friday.
Oh, am I supposed to follow you back to help boost your numbers?
Yes, please.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Because you're on Twitter at a different account.
Yeah, well, I can't remember the exact name of the account. I think it's the Coaches Room Pod. But me and my buddy Brandon are starting up a new podcast called The Coaches Room. And that podcast we're hoping will drop by next Friday.
It's like Jared Sports Reports, but with less talk about the NBA.
It's a little different than that. It's going to be We'll talk about 3 kind of major main tide sports stories. We'll talk some coaching.
You have some followers
yeah,
already.
We do.
Now you have 32.
Yeah, I know. In less than a week.
In one tweet.
Just one tweet, yes. We're currently through the process of landing our podcasting.
Also notice you followed your own podcast.
Yes, I follow my own I follow this podcast too.
It's just me. I don't have like a separate one.
You
for the
create
podcast.
a large digital footprint, and my digital footprint is growing.
Good.
So there. I also changed the part of my bio on Junior Rich to podcast star.
Jesus.
Yes.
Great.
So, the Coach's Room podcast will be dropping next week. I'll obviously tweet about it, but really excited about it. We'll be talking Maine sports history as well, some Maine sports stories, some really good interviews lined up, including one later this summer about a friend of ours will be on the show to talk about his experiences as a broadcaster, but also when he was in high school, the captain of his swim team got off of a triple homicide murder charge. So little-known Maine sports stories. We're going to talk about those as well. And some better-known Maine sports stories. So really excited about it.
And you haven't even asked me to come on to talk about the NBA free agency.
Nope, and I don't know if we will. So
you'll just be like, stop talking about basketball.
Well, because we're not going to talk about those things on this show. We're not going to be like a hot take show like, oh, the Celtics should do this. We're going to be more story-oriented.
Sign Kemba Walker, sign Brooke Lopez.
There you go. See, you don't even have to. See, you don't need to come on my show when you have your own show to do this. 3,000 listeners. We hope to get 50 our first time out.
Well, if you give me like 2 minutes, we can scoot it in here.
Oh yeah.
Like you're just like, yeah, that's what we'll do. Like, I control the edit. Give me 2 minutes and I'll plug it in. A good 2 minutes.
There you go.
All right. We'll be back next week for our 4th of July show. As we do every 4th of July, it's going to be a Captain America focused story.
Yay!
This time, hey, one time he was a werewolf.
What? An American werewolf in London?
An American werewolf on the 4th of July, Captain style.
I love it already.
That's over easy.
Let's
It
go.
doesn't make any sense. All right, we'll be back for that. Bye.